As Cami is off tonight, some confusion over COVID-19 vaccine guidance for children. This coming after a viewer contacted us saying they were struggling to find a vaccine for their child, adding to the lack of clarity. Federal and state guidance don't match. In a First Alert update, Samantha Cavalli breaking it all down tonight to help keep you and your family informed.
As cold and flu season ramps up, many are lifting their sleeves to protect themselves. But the latest guidelines raise the question, how can your children get vaccinated? Over the last several years, the vaccine was recommended to anyone 6 months and older, no matter the risk factors. Federal guidelines now say the decision to vaccinate should be based on shared clinical decision-making and patient characteristics. Those with underlying health conditions or over the age of 65 may be eligible for 1 dose every 6 months or twice a year. In May, federal health officials announced the CDC would no longer recommend the COVID-19 vaccine for healthy children along with pregnant women. However, in August, the American Academy of Pediatrics stated children ages 6 months to 23 months should receive the COVID-19 vaccine due to high risk of severe illness. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services matches that recommendation. And last month, Governor Evers signing an executive order to ensure access to vaccines in Wisconsin. But several clinics we spoke with over the phone tell us they don't offer the vaccine for children or have a small amount based on the federal guidance, not the state. We reached out to local healthcare providers about their policies. Prevea says it is offering doses to children through 2 channels. Back in September, it received privately purchased doses for kids between 6 months and 12 years old who have private insurance. It will also be receiving state-funded doses, which will be available for children between 6 months and 19 years old. Now, if you're still unsure, you can reach out to your doctor or your local pharmacy to make sure that they are offering the shot for children before you make an appointment. Samantha Cavalli, Action 2 News.